everybody. Welcome to my very first crafting stream. Here we are. So happy you could join me. I'm already at a loss for words. So anyway, thank you for joining me in making a complete fool of myself for what could very well be a horrible, horrible mistake. We'll find out. As the stream continues on, let me know if the music is too loud or if you're not hearing it at all, or the sound quality is off, the video quality is off, all that fun stuff, technical stuff. I'm not good at it, so it's something that I'm learning as I go, and hopefully as I do more of these, I get better with it and I learn more tricks and tips. One of the things that I am working on trying to get work, and I don't know if you have the correct extensions, if you need to have the right extensions on, or if that's something I need to do, I have no idea. It's something I'm looking into for closed captioning and that sort of thing. Also for the right tags and all that fun stuff, so that you guys can actually get what you're looking for out of these streams together. So I'm Shakti. Again, thank you for joining me. This is something that I've been kind of wanting to do for a few months. A person I follow on Twitter posted something, I want to say back in January, about a crafter that was streaming, and my mind was blown. I was like, oh my god, this is something that people actually do. We can actually share our crafts virtually. And after a year and a half of COVID, everything has to be, of course, virtual, and to find a community that way for me is huge. So I started watching various crafting streams, found some wonderful streamers, which hopefully once I figure out how to raid and do all that stuff, we'll be able to go and visit later on as more of these streams happen. So I started seeing these and I was like, oh my god, I just need this community for myself. I need to find my people to join me in this. So thank you for being those people. My goal here is really just to have a stitch and bitch session. So just someplace where I can go and work with my fingers and do fancy things with yarn and string and make something useful at the end of it, while talking to people that I may not know, get to know, that sort of thing. I'm an introvert. It's very difficult for me to meet new people and feel comfortable meeting new people, so this is a huge venture for me, and I cannot stress enough how much I appreciate you being here with me, and just joining me on this venture. So with that, today I had intended to make a blanket, start a blanket with you guys. My header says baby blanket. However, looking at the pattern, I don't think it's going to actually work out as a baby blanket. So with that, let me share with you the actual pattern that I'm going to be using, and share with you the links that we'll be using. Give me 1 second here. Hopefully everything's working out well, and we'll see if this works. Zoom in on my head there. All right. So what I've shared with you here is the actual there's two links there. Great, there's no break between the links. So if you mouse over it, hopefully you can see there's a link to the actual pattern, and then a link to a video that the makers of the pattern have posted. So it is a pattern by Red Heart, and it is totally free on their website. So you just go to that website. There is a link to download now. You just click on download now and you get a handy PDF. And then following that is the YouTube link, again from Red Heart. They have created a video to show some of the more trickier stitches and that sort of thing. So if you're struggling, that's a great place to go if I'm unable to help you with this. So that's what I'm making today. It is a lattice pattern, which is why I thought it might be difficult, might be inappropriate as a baby blanket, because if you're familiar with babies, they lack the control over their limbs, and so it's a lot. There's a lot of little holes in this pattern, so getting their little fingers and toes stuck might be a problem with it. So the pattern itself is labeled as lapghan, so I'll probably just think of it that way from this point forward, and I don't know, end up donating it, I guess, to a local hospital, and hopefully that'll be a thing. Details on this pattern: it is a worsted weight pattern for worsted weight yarn. So today I'm going to be using, can you see that? Impeccable Loops and Threads. This is available at, if you're in Canada, at Michael's. If you're not in Canada, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But it is just a generic acrylic worsted weight. So any that'll suit the cup, be in the color that you want and is kind of blankety soft, it'll do for you on this pattern, no problem at all. The label on these balls of yarn, as long as it's a worsted weight, and the label generally says anywhere between a 4 and a 6 millimeter hook, which is a US H to J, I think, 8 to 10, I think. I'm Canadian. I do everything in millimeters when it comes to yarn. Roughly, if it's there, a worsted weight will work, and it's a blanket. So worst case scenario, if your yarn isn't exactly a worsted weight, if it's a little bit thinner than a worsted weight, or if it's an Aran weight and it's a little bit thicker, you're just going to have a bigger or smaller blanket at the end of it. So it's just however you want it to turn out at the end. And of course, because it's your own project, you can have whatever color you want. So the color that I have here is not accurate. So that's something I need to work on, is color correction on my lighting. So the screen is showing me a blue. This is actually more of a green teal. Not even a teal. It's more like a dusty mint green something. I wanted something gender neutral. If it was going to be a baby blanket, I didn't want to be limiting it, and some people have crazy ideas about color and gender, and so I wanted something neutral in that regard. So that being said, this pattern calls for a worsted weight, a 5 millimeter hook, which is US H or 8. It calls for roughly, I believe, 1,200 meters of yarn. Let me just check my notes here. Oh, excuse me, 1,332 meters, which is 1,456 yards of yarn. So if you're going to be using the recommended Red Heart Super Saver, which is what the pattern says, I think that's only like 4 balls. If you're using this one, I'm holding it upside down. If you're using this one, I went ahead and bought 6 balls because I'm terrified of running out, and I just want to make sure that they're all of the same color. If you purchase yarn, you know that lots vary, and sometimes if you wait a few weeks between purchases, you can get a totally different color, especially with acrylics. They don't tend to put a whole lot of emphasis on making sure the lot colors are the same exact thing, because it's cheap yarn. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my craft cam, and hopefully I have this set up right. Let's find out. No. You can see my dirty floor though. Oh. Or my craft can is not working. That's great. That's delightful. How about I shut that off? And we'll just go back to just looking at my fantastic face. Why not? Thanks, Craft Cam. Obviously, that's something I need to work on. I need a better webcam. Ooh! I just dropped it and broke it. Stop. Okay. So the thing is, I was using my phone as a craft cam. Clearly that's the wrong idea. So what I'll do is I'll do this and try and crochet up here. Who knows? Anyway, I have my pattern, and as you can kind of see on the picture, hopefully you can see on the picture. Yeah, you can kind of see it's a lattice pattern and it has a few holes, so it's not going to work for a baby. So that's what it's going to look like. I don't even know how big this is supposed to be in the end. I'm sure it says so in the pattern. I haven't actually read the pattern. 42 inches, roughly. So that's how long it's supposed to be. Oh, there we are. So let's get started. So with this kind of yarn, there is, when it's wound this way, you should be able to go into the center and pull out the center so that it doesn't fall over everywhere and you have yarn everywhere. There we go. This actually is pretty clean. I have had times when I pull out the center point and it ends up being this barf of yarn, and you pretty much unroll the entire thing before you find the end, and this is very nice. So the pattern starts off by asking us to chain 117 stitches, so that's going to be a problem. It's just a lot, so I'm going to be using my handy dandy stitch markers, and marking off so I don't lose count. And hopefully I have enough. Because I have these cute little hooky things. And then I have these little twisty things trying to center. Anyway, I don't prefer the twisty things because they tend to get caught, but they'll have to do because I only have a couple of the little hooky things. So hooky things and twisty things, and we are doing 117 chains. So if you're unfamiliar with how to chain, well, let me teach you. You start off with, this is really bad that I don't have my craft cam and I'm very upset. So you start off with a little, let me do it here. Here we go. I'm going to start off with, try and center that for you. I forget what that's called. Slip knot. Start off with a slip knot. And all crocheting is making a loop and pulling through the loop. And it doesn't matter how many loops you have, it's all just pulling through a loop. And every stitch just changes the amount of loops you're pulling. That's it. So I have my slip knot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap a yarn around my hook and pull that loop through the slip knot. And then, if you can see, that's backwards because, oh, this is awful. You can see that there is a loop through the loop. And I have to do that 117 times. And I've just pulled my slip knot really tight. So I'm going to start again. This is really inconvenient, guys. It was working. I did so many tests on this camera. It was working. I don't know what changed. The minute I go live, it stops working. I need to get a real webcam, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna stick a loopy loop. There's 10. I'm gonna just pull my hook out and show you what you're looking at here. So you have a nice little chain, and it's actually these little holes up top, these little V shapes. Can you see that? I don't know. Little V shapes, that's upside down V shapes, little V shapes that you're going to actually be counting as a single stitch. So each little V is one stitch. Okay, so I have 10 of them here now. Let's add some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 30. I'm gonna move up my, sorry, I just realized I was not in this camera here. I'm gonna move this up. So now I have, green is at 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Red's gonna go up to 40. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50. Halfway. All right, you get the idea. I'm just gonna burn through the next, that's 50. There's supposed to be 117. It's not gonna be very wide. I guess it's wide enough for a lap, right? All right, so that's 50. Bear with me while I count. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm awfully confident that I'm correct in my counting. Certainly seems that way, eh? We're going to we're going to count again, don't worry. So that's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 50. I need another 17 more, and then we're going to count it all together and make sure that we're actually correct on all of them. This is super exciting. You came here to watch me count. How great is that? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. One moment, please. I'm just going to mute. I have a child at the door. All right, I think I got this now. Sorry about that. I am a mom, and the kid needs to interrupt once in a while. Okay, so I now have 117 stitches. I'm going to count them again. Count twice, measure once, measure twice. Was it measure twice, cut once? Something. I'm not cutting, it's just yarn. But anyway, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. So far so good. That's 50 at the marker. That's good. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. Perfect. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. 117 stitches. First time. Okay. So the first row will be on the wrong side, 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, 1 single crochet in each chain. Okay, so I could have just done a foundation crochet row. If I had read the pattern, I could have just done that and skipped this entire bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to do a single crochet. So I really wish I had my craft cam for this. So we have our little bumps and our hooks and stuff. So the second one will be, I wish I could, maybe I'll just not show you today. Maybe that's just a thing we'll do. Okay, so I have 1, 2 little bumps on the second one. I'm going to stick my hook inside there, curl a loop through, pull it through. So now I have two loops on my hook. Drop some more yarn. Then I'm going to yarn over and draw through both loops. And I've just done a single crochet. And I'm showing the floor because I don't have a proper camera set up. Oh, this is frustrating. Okay. So I basically do that all the way along. I stick my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, draw through the first loop, yarn over, draw through both loops. And all the way through. Through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Through the stitch, yarn over, pull through. So I'm assuming that if you are familiar with crochet, you may have found patterns that have different terminology for single crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, half double crochet, etc. The difference is in the UK terminology and the US terminology because there is no standardization for yarn crafting. There is none in knitting, there's none in crochet. It's incredibly infuriating. We have different hook and needle sizes for whatever region in the world you're in. You have different names for yarn, whatever region in the world you're in. Different names for stitches, whatever region of the world you're in. But since Red Heart is an American company, I'm assuming they're using US terms. And since I live right next to the United States, those are the ones I'm the most comfortable with. Funny that. So, as an alternate to doing 117 stitches in single crochet and then doing a row of foundation crochet, or excuse me, of single, starting again, instead of doing a row of chain to start and then a row of single crochet, this can also be substituted by a single row of foundation crochet, which puts the chain and the single crochet together in one stitch. That's something I'll show you another time when I actually do have a crafting cam and actually can show the proper way of making that happen so that it makes sense to you. In the meantime, just know that that is a possibility to replace that way. So I don't tend to have a blanket always on the needles, but it is something nice to have because it's one of those projects where you can just pick up and do literally anywhere without much thought. It's one of those meditative practices, and just you can disappear into your own thoughts or into the television show you're watching and not think about it too much. Unlike some other projects where you have to pay attention to the pattern, and doing anything else at that time is difficult. I speak from experience. The last project I completed was a pair of socks that I pulled out 4 times altogether because I just could not knit them and pay attention to the pattern for whatever reason. I would turn on TV and get lost in the show I was watching and royally screw up the socks. So as it is right now, the socks are done. They're very pretty. It's a lovely pattern, but it was not a pattern that I could just sit there and forget about things for a while with. It was definitely one that I had to pay attention to. I had feet that ended up being, I have fairly large feet, so I need a fairly large sock to fit a fairly large foot, and I ended up with a sock that was extremely large. And it was all due to my just not reading the pattern at all. I had ended up adding a whole nother section that was not necessary. I misjudged the actual width of my yarn, which was a problem. I am also a pretty loose knitter, so my gauge is pretty loose, so I need to usually go down several needle sizes in order to get the right size that the designer has intended. So that was a hard lesson for me to learn, and I only just learned it. I've been knitting and crocheting for some time. But there you go. I don't like to swatch. I hate it because it's a waste of time, I think, most of the time. Turns out it's not actually a waste of time. That's just my feeling. Because I'm not actually making anything productive, right? I'm just measuring. Who wants to do that? But if you want clothes that fit, you have to swatch. Hence my preference for blankets. Because they're just the size that they are. And that's it. Now, all that to say, I've never knit a blanket because I find that crocheting goes much faster and I'm impatient. So, there we are. That's a thing. This is going to take forever. I'm going to end up with only 4 rows done by the time this stream is over. Although I've taken out both hooky things, so that's good actually. It's going a little bit faster than I thought. Yeah, I find crochet goes way faster than knitting. But it's also much more of a yarn hog. It has both of them have their purpose. I find crocheting is best for blankets and knitting is best for clothing, although there are articles of clothing that crochet works for. Nice chunky sweater, you could absolutely crochet that, but I find that you get a lot more definition with knitting than you do with crochet. So it's not something I personally would ever do on socks. It's I've definitely seen it on socks, but it doesn't create a texture that I prefer. But don't worry, I plan on doing both for you. And maybe some cross-stitching. Yeah, I have a few cross-stitching projects on the go. I have, and you can't see it in the screen right now, but behind me, right here, I have Susan, who is my, I forget what she's called. She holds my stuff. Let me pull her over. One sec. I don't know if you can see her. Susan. She's my form. Anyway. She's set up with a sweater on her, a sweater that has been in pieces for a good year at least, maybe 2. So I have the entire thing knit. it's all ready to go, except that it has to be seamed. So one of these streams, I'm going to be seaming up my sweater. And it's a lovely pattern for this sweater too. It's gorgeous, and I can't wait to, I say I can't wait to wear it, but honestly I can wait to wear it, but I hate seaming. So, it's been sitting on Susan for some time. So anyway, those are my plans for you. Some crocheting, some knitting, some cross stitching, some sewing. Honestly, that's the only way I'm going to get it done, folks. I have to be held accountable. I even think that, oh, what the heck happened to this stitch? I got a weird stitch happening here. I'm gonna have to, I think I'm gonna have to count when I'm done again, because I may have totally messed up my chain stitch. Well, I'll do a count once I'm done this. Anyway, one of the other things I was thinking about doing is doing a few gaming streams as well. I have a couple of games that I think would stream very nicely. But that requires a whole new setup for me to do that, because right now my computer, I have a laptop I'm streaming from, it's sitting on a foldable table in my craft room. So that's not ideal for gaming. And you know, there's a lounge chair. I can't, unless I'm on a console, I can't game from a lounge chair. So I'm gonna eventually move my desk in this room so that I can do some streaming games and that sort of thing. All right, I am at the end of this row, and I'm just gonna count to make sure that I didn't mess anything up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna show you how pretty this looks. Just to, isn't that pretty? The lighting is awful. Well, you can kind of see if I hold it back. All right. So bear with me one sec. I'm going to count again to make sure that I actually do have the right number of stitches, because that one stitch, I think I messed that one up. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 96, 98, 100, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Okay. No. That's the... Oh, because it was the chain. Okay. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Because we started on the second chain from the hook, we're down to 116 stitches. I was just looking at my final stitch, and I'm not even going to bother to show you because camera. My final stitch is actually, the 1/17th stitch was the second chain, which made the first single crochet. It's very confusing, but trust me, I should be at 116 stitches, not 117 stitches. Okay. All right, so the next one, let's see here. Next row, chain 4, skip each of the next 2 stitches. What is a DTR? That's a new stitch. DTR in the next single crochet. Working behind the DTR, 1 treble crochet. Maybe it's a double treble crochet? Yeah, okay. So yarn over 3, you guys are going to learn this stitch with me too, because that's just, a treble crochet is a really long, tall stitch. So a double treble crochet is going to be even longer. So I imagine that's the lattice portion that goes in front of the other stitches. So let's see what we can do here. Let's just follow the instructions. And Shakti, you're going to trust the pattern. Trust the pattern. I have a really hard time trusting the pattern. What does a designer know? All right. Says the person who rarely designs anything. It takes math. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip each of the next 2 single crochets, and then we're going to do a double treble in the next single crochet. Okay, so in that one, we're going to yarn over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 little on my hook, plus the actual stitch. So I have 4 altogether on my hook. And draw up a loop in the stitch. So drawing up a loop. Now I have 5 loops on my hook. Yarn over and draw through 2 loops. Do that 4 times. 2, 3, 4. The stitch is made, and look at that, I have a little triangle. Ooh, why can't I center? This is so weird. Okay, so working behind this stitch, I'm going to do a treble in each of the skip stitches. So a treble crochet is 2 yarn overs. I go into this one, pull up, and then I do 2, 2, and 2, 2 yarn overs. I know I'm going through this really fast, but there's, without a craft cam, I feel really bad. I'm gonna get this sorted for the next time I work on this, I promise. Okay, so now I have, I'm just gonna pull this out and see if I can show you. Okay, so I have, this is my starting chain 4 right here. I have my lattice piece, and then I have my 2 treble crochets. I'll see it easier on the back. There's the back. I have 2 double trebles and my lattice piece in front, and it's not shaped very nicely, but this is supposed to be a straight edge. It's really bad. I'm not happy with my cameras. I'm not happy with technology right now. Just not happy. Okay, so I did that. Skip the next single crochet. There's my stitch, there it is. Skip the next single, 1 treble in each of the next 2. Well, yeah, I have to skip it because I already did a thing there. Okay, so 1 treble in each of the next 2. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, yarn over, yarn over, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Yarn. See what I mean? That crochet is literally just pulling up loops. That's all it is. Okay. Working in the front. This is a really confusing, anyway. Working in the front of the 2 trebles. Oh, I'm going backwards. Oh. Oh, so we're going to make a V in our double trebles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Let me start again. I've already screwed it up. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to draw up a loop. Oh my god, this is... Okay, there. This is really tricky. Okay. Drawing up a loop. Then yarn over 2 loops. Yarn over 2 loops. Yarn over 2 loops. And yarn over 2 loops. Now I have a V. And I don't have enough yarn to show you. Let's see. You know what? Let's see if I can get my lighting. You can kind of see a V there. maybe? There's a V. Anyway, we'll be able to see it a lot better once I get this going a few more in here. So that is basically my stitch pattern for this row. I do all of that all the way across. So 1, 2, 3 more. Skip 2 stitches. Womp womp, and into that one. Okay. Yarn over 2. Yarn over 2. Yarn over 2. Yarn over 2. And then we're doing trebles. In there. 2. Okay. And into that one. Okay, this isn't going to be too bad. Once I get going, I think I'll be okay. And then skip that one. 2 more in there. Oh, that was a double crochet. Ooh, ooh. That's going to be the part that I'm going to be struggling with the most, is getting the right amount of yarn overs. I'm going to have some shorter stitches. So that's all that the difference between a single, a half double, a double, a treble, and a double treble, I guess. The only difference is the height of the stitch. So with each one you just add an extra yarn over. So a single crochet doesn't have any yarn overs. Half double has 1 yarn over, and you pull through all the loops. A double crochet has 1 yarn over, and then you pull through 2 loops. Treble has 2 yarn overs, and you pull through 2 loops. And a double treble, as I've now learned today, has 3 yarn overs, and you pull through 2 loops. Alright, so the trickiest part for me, I think, is going to be remembering the number of yarn overs and doing these double trebles in reverse. That's just weird. So I wouldn't recommend this as a beginner pattern, obviously, because there's a lot going on here. So 1, 2, 3. And I've just now split my yarn. You guys will be blessed with seeing the tongue coming out while I figure this stuff out. Oh, look at that, I got 2 V's. Yay! Alright. And then another double. It's gonna be an interesting blanket. I don't know. We'll see how I skip into. We'll see how it goes. I'm not adverse to pulling the entire thing out if I don't like it. It's just yarn. What's the worst that can happen? I have to start again. All right. So for this stream, what I have decided to do for now is stream a couple times a week. So right now I have every Wednesday and every Sunday. Today being the very first one. So I'm supposed to do, according to that schedule, oops, almost messed this one up again. According to that schedule, I'm supposed to do a stream on Wednesday. The gotcha is I'm having my COVID part 2 shot on Wednesday, and depending on side effects, I may not. So we'll see how I feel on Wednesday. Right now it is a tentative maybe. Getting this stitch going backwards is just crazy. Okay, but this yarn is lovely. But what I think I'm going to do, if I do stream on Wednesday, hopefully I'll have my desk set up here and I'll just do a gaming stream on that, maybe. Something that I don't have to think too much about. Or maybe I'll just do a simple crochet or something that doesn't require this kind of attention. And then next week, on Sunday, we'll either pick this one back up or I will have a pair of socks good to go. So I do have a pair of socks that I want to start. However, they require some concentration. They're a toe-up sock and they require some concentration on getting it started. So I'll probably have that started off stream and then start with that, with a little bit of the toe done. And we'll just start knitting from there. Okay. What did I do here? I went backwards, so now I need to do another treble. Okay. Oof. And this is a 4-row repeat with alternating V's for the double trebles. So we'll see if I can concentrate on this. Yeah, skip 2. Okay. That's the back. There's the front. Can you see that? It's my first day with mirrors. There's the front. Can you see? It's upside down. There it is. I'm not this much of a noob, I promise. I promise. This is not... It is normal. It's totally normal. Let's be real. Okay. Here we are. Another half V done. So it is, of course, as we know, June, and the perfect month for allergies to go insane. So you'll have to excuse me, my nose is a little runny. It's not COVID, because I'm sneezing like a mofo too. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And we're doing reverse one again. Let's see if I can get this right without destroying it. Gotcha. You are mine. Okay. Getting there. All right. I'm getting it. I'm slowly getting this. Okay, and I think that when I do this row again, I'll be able to get it then as well. Okay, skipping. It's just working into, getting into the pattern, getting into the flow. I don't know that this is one I could watch TV with. That's fine. I have other projects I can watch TV with. Right now, I am working, my TV project is an Assassin's Creed Scooty. So it's a hooded scarf thing. So I make a lot of amigurumi items, dolls, and functional nerd things like shawls and hats and that sort of thing. All with the nerd themes. So as you can tell with my Star Wars fan shirt, I am a nerd. So I like to make nerdy things. And my crochet is no exception. Well, this is an exception, but it's because you always need to have a blanket on the go. And sometimes you need to do mainstream stuff. I think I just did that stitch wrong. What am I doing? Did that. Okay. I'm okay. Anyway, so the hooded scarf, the Assassin's Creed Scooty, is actually going to be going up on my shop. for sale, because that's where I sell my nerd stuff. But I'll do some of those on stream as well. I'm getting so lost. I'm gonna have to BRB this screen and go blow my nose because these allergies are getting to be crazy. All right, so I need to do 4. I'm just working out the pattern in my head here. 4 treble crochets, 2 double trebles, and then 4 trebles. Yes. Okay, I can do this. All right, I am sorry. I'm gonna have to pause this for half a second. I have my trusty box of tissues. One moment, please. Okay, all good. Let's pick this up. I'm gonna move these out of the way, the stitch markers, because I see myself knocking them all over the floor. Okay, where are we at? I did 4 trebles, so now I need 2 double trebles. 1, 2, 3, and this one's a reverse one, so okay. 2, 3, 4, and then skipping, and we're going here. My plan is also for Sundays to be my long stream, because in my family we don't really do much on Sundays. It's our relax, just meh kind of a day. So it's a perfect day for me to stream and just hang out and do stuff. And these streams are always going to be, well, they're held by Twitch for 2 weeks. So you can always go back and watch the videos and whatever, if you're so inclined. I know I do that with a few of the streamers when I'm unable to actually catch their streams. But I'll also be uploading them to my YouTube channel. So I'll add all those links up at the end here when we're done for the day. Oh, it's taking forever. Look how much I still have to go through. I've only done this tiny bit. I'm so impatient. Okay. Yarn hog. I can see why it's going to take so much yarn to do this. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned the Red Heart Super Saver, which is the one that's recommended for this pattern, has a larger yardage than the Impeccable does. So that's why I had to buy more balls than was recommended, because it only recommended 4 balls. I bought 6 to make sure that I had my yardage plus extra. 1, 2, 3. How is the music? I don't know. It's good for me, but I don't know how much you guys are hearing it. We'll find out. Yeah, I've seen some pretty cool streamers. It's so wild to me that I never thought this kind of stuff could be streamed. And obviously not just knitting and crochet and that sort of thing. Like I've seen some really cool streamers doing some really cool stuff, making cosplay, and I watched a fella doing glass blowing. He was just sitting there, not even talking, just blowing glass. Very relaxing, actually, surprisingly. Lost my place again. And hopefully, if more people join us and the chat starts going, we can actually have a good convo going on, and it's not just me talking to myself. Although, whether it's in my head or outside my head doesn't really matter, I suppose. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I think I did this wrong. I think I just did 2 stitches wrong. Hold on. I'm pulling them out. Okay. So I did a forward, front. Okay, so yeah, I did do this wrong. I needed to do a double. And I did it. And I skipped it. So there we go. Fight the sneeze. Fight the sneeze. Oh my goodness. So I do have a closed captioning thing happening. I don't know if it's on your end or what, but until I'm told otherwise, I'm going to assume that it's good to go. Anyway. It's telling me that my fight the sneeze was a pizza Steve. So apparently there's a dialect issue there. Okay, that stitch looks awful, and I'm going to start that one again. What the heck happened there? All right, 1, 2, 3. So I originally had this pattern set aside for my grandmother. So my grandmother was a crocheter as long as I could remember. She taught me. My mother also jumped in and taught. And then because I then became a teenager, I was no longer interested in doing this kind of stuff because I had better things to do with my time. And then as an adult, I moved out on my own and realized that I forgot how to knit, how to crochet, all of it. So, not living near my family, I went onto YouTube and relearned all of it. So, that was a really great resource for me. But in the meantime, oh, did I do 4? Yes, I did. Okay. In the meantime, my grandmother, like I said, had always crocheted for as long as I could remember. And one of her pastimes, she would have yarn purchased for her or donated to her, and all she would make was blankets. Most of her grandkids have a blanket from her. Several of her great-grandkids have blankets from her. She would make blankets for the hospital. She would make blankets for friends and everything. She was always making blankets. And always on the look for new stitches. So I had found this pattern and was intending to send it to her. She passed away last year. So she never actually had a chance to make this one. So I figured I will. And like her, I don't make a whole lot of blankets for myself. It all goes to somebody else who needs it. There's only so many blankets you can have in a house, right? in my opinion anyway. You should always have a living room blanket and your bedroom blankets, of course, but the rest of it, why keep it? Keeps a person busy. But all that to say, I, having learned from my grandmother and seen her crochet for my entire life, it was interesting to me to find out as an adult that she didn't know how to crochet until my mother taught her. So it's kind of mind-blowing on that. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost halfway on this row, on this single row. We might get 2 rows done today. Who knows? I'm not even sure why I decided to pick up knitting and crochet again. I think I was just looking for something to do. I had little children at the time, and it was something to do while they were playing, or we were at the park, or whatever. Kept me busy while still managing to keep an eye on them because kids. And I made them some fun stuff too. Yeah, there's a lot. This is not going to work for a baby blanket. There's a lot of holes in here. I just realized it's getting very stuffy and hot in this room, and I'm right next to the air vent register, and it's closed, so none of the air conditioning is coming in here. But we're in Canada, who needs air conditioning, right? Actually, where I live in Ontario, and the entire province is under a heat wave warning right now. So almost the entire province is slated to hit near 40 degrees Celsius today, which is very hot. At least for us, it's very hot. And if you're near the water, it's going to be very humid as well, which is worse. Okay, what am I doing? I need to start paying attention to my work, y'all. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I need to do a double. And back through. I even watched stream I'm just thinking about watching those cool streams with interesting projects being made, and I watched a stream with someone who was doing pottery on a spinning wheel out of their storefront. So they were actually, their store was open, people were coming in to purchase and stuff, and this person was sitting at their spinning wheel while making things, so I could hear the customers coming in and the conversations being, it was really, I don't know if that entirely is to my liking, but it was an interesting way of doing a stream. Okay, 1, 2, and skip. We're good to go. So I've just done the 2 double trebles. Now I'm doing 4 trebles. Needs to be a better name than double treble. Because really, it's only one more loop than a treble, so it should be something to do with, like, maybe a double-double. Oh, it's a Timmy's. Canadians will get that one. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a Timmy's from now on. All right, so 4 treble crochets now. 2 Timmies. Yeah. Yeah, now I'm gonna want some coffee. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, three. And there. I really hope the next row is just a simple row. I really should learn to just read the pattern before I start in its entirety. Okay. I'm really upset that my craft cam didn't work. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's only the first stream, right? It's only the first time. There's bound to be mistakes. There's bound to be problems. All right, now 2 Timmies. I'm totally calling it that. It doesn't suit only because it's a double treble. So my thinking, we have a double crochet and then we have a treble crochet, which is 3 single crochets stacked. A double treble is 4 single crochets stacked, or 2 double crochets. So it's a double, double. And if you're in Canada, a double-double is how you take your Tim Hortons coffee. So it's a Timmy's. Double cream, double sugar. I don't actually take my coffee that way, but some do. I don't know what I just did here. I totally messed up that stitch explaining that, so let's start again. I know you can't see it because craft cam, but I have pulled out a lot of stitches since we started this. I keep pulling out and starting again, pulling out, starting again. It is coming together, albeit slowly. Three, okay, 2 doubles. Okay, I'm past, sorry about that. I'm past half. Look at, there's the end. Oh, we're past halfway on our first row. This blanket's gonna take forever, so don't look forward to this one being done anytime soon. There'll be a lot of streams. You guys will have to let me know, you folks will have to let me know what you want to see in the stream as well. And a journaling stream. I watched a journaling stream the other day too. Someone was just trying out pens and stickers, and so cool. I need a Timmy's here, this one, okay. And I'm going backwards. Alrighty. One, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now a couple of triples. We're getting there, it's starting to come along. I'm just thinking about my seaming project with Susan here. I'll remove some of the cat hair off it. I'm just thinking about the seaming project, and I suspect that I've probably made a mistake in some of my measurements in it as well, which is part of the reason why my sweater's been hanging here for some time, because I don't want to acknowledge that I've made a mistake. 1, 2, 3. And part of the gotcha on this sweater, and I mean, you'll see it once I actually start the seaming, but the back is still has, there's 2 sections to the back, and in the center back, there's still live stitches. So they need to be grafted together. The entire length of the back needs to be grafted together. And I really suck at grafting too. So not only am I seaming, I will be grafting. Excuse me. So needless to say, not looking forward to it. So that'll be an adventure. Oh, and I got cat hair everywhere. Do have a cat, Luna. She is lovely, but she is a cat and therefore a turd. Got this chair a couple weeks ago. It is an IKEA Wang, and it's very comfortable and it's perfect for knitting. But anyway, got this chair, got it all set up, and Luna immediately claimed it. Like, I have to brush this thing off, lint brush it every time I want to sit down because it is covered in cat hair. Everything we own is covered in cat hair. That's why I try and keep my yarn away from her. Generally speaking, doesn't always work. I just make sure my customers know and the recipients know there's going to be some cat stuff on it. And if it's a problem, then I'm sorry. So, the only thing I'm not liking is that the single crochet row was on the wrong side. I mean, I suppose it looks okay, but I like the finish of the single crochet row on the wrong side better than I like it on the right side. I guess if the next row, yeah, the next row is going to be a single crochet row, so it's going to be on the wrong side again, so I guess we just do the wrong side. That's the way it is. Alright, now a Timmy's. Yes, I do think I'm awfully clever for coming up with that. Thank you. Oh, so funny. I'm so good. And humble. Gorgeous, intelligent, strong, witty. You'll come to know this. And of course I laugh at my own jokes. They're funny. Why wouldn't I? I'm just thinking to myself that about at the halfway point, I think I'm going to be taking a break here. Grab a proper drink, get some air conditioning in this room, use the washroom, etc. And if you're watching this now or later, it's probably a good time for you to do the same. If you haven't been. be at the end of this row. Let's see how fast I can go with that. We'll do that then. This is going to be a nice pattern, but yeah, definitely not a baby blanket. So maybe I'll start a baby blanket. I do have a pattern that I want to make that is a knit baby blanket, and I had started it years ago. And the problem was that the border was to be knit around the outside after we had knit the main portion. And I've already made known how much I enjoy sewing. And that sort of thing. Picking up stitches is also in there. That is not my favorite because it means I have to do things evenly and I'm not great at that. However, I tried to readjust the pattern so that I can knit the edging at the same time as the center portion, and it wasn't working out. So I may try again with that pattern and see if we can make that work. That would be a good project, I think. It also means I'd have to buy more yarn. How awful would that be? I know, it's just terrible. All right, time for a treble, double treble, going back. No tongue that time. That's good. We're good. And another double treble. 1, 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break at the end of this row. And we should be good to go. 1, 2. The other downside to knitting a blanket is having needles that are long enough. Or you have to do it in sections and then sew it up. How about no? So I went in the front, working in the back. Now I need to go forward. Okay, 1, 2. I don't know why I'm just not grasping this. It's only the first row. I'll get this pattern. I need to take it easy on myself. Right? I can do that. It's like surgery trying to figure out this stitch. We'll get there. 1, 2, 3. I have to do 2 of those at the same time. 2 double doubles. 2 timmies. Remember that. Okay. I can do this. 1, 2. Working in the back. Need more yarn. It's getting really hot in this room. Oh, what am I doing here? I lost my, I'm gonna pull it out again. So there is a saying that you should never stop knitting in the middle of a row. And apparently I should never stop crocheting in the middle of a stitch because I lose my spot. Even though I have assured you that it's literally just drawing up loops. It's just loops. I can do this. Apparently not today. It's fine. Okay. Oh, look at how little I have left. So cool. How does it end? To the last stitch and then one treble. Okay, okay, I can do that. Cool. Okay. One, two. Okay. And the backwards. Here comes tongue. No. I got this. Yeah. It takes a little bit of doing, but it's not impossible. It's not a preferred pattern for me, but that's okay. It'll look nice once it's done. I guess I'm gonna have to go and find another webcam in the house to get this craft cam working properly. Oh, and then I need to get the computer set up right. It's like you need a degree in IT to do this stuff. I don't know. I figured out the basic streaming things, so that's something, I suppose. Three and four. 1, 2, 3. It's just a little nub left. And then I can show you folks the whole row. I think it'll look better once we have the next couple of rows done, because that will stabilize some of these stitches. Okay, look at... There is a problem here. I think I have too many not enough stitches. I did say I had 116. Maybe. Trust the pattern. 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 One, two. Okay, no, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. I'm on my last. So treble. Then I need to do one more double treble backwards. And then one last treble in the last stitch. And the row is done. Okay, let me show you. How's that look? The lighting is so bad. It's definitely a lot looser across the top than it is on the bottom. But the next row is a single crochet across. So that should tighten it up a bit. But for the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few minutes and take a break. I'll stick that back in there so that I don't lose my stitch. We're going to take a few minutes and take a break and then be back. All right. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, 1 sec. we're about to start our third row of this lapghan. So this row, thankfully, is just a single crochet row all the way across, so it should go fairly quick. Starting off with a chain and then single crocheting all the way across. And that should stabilize our stitches a little bit as well. Make it a little bit strengthened across and even. Noticing that my trebles are very, very loose. I don't tend to have a lot of tension when I crochet or knit, so but I got the air conditioning flowing in this room. Music's still going good. I know the music's a little boring, but rules is rules. Don't need to be muting myself. So pulling it from the middle makes it handy, and so my yarn stays in one place. However, once this ball is done, I don't know if you can see the pattern. It's a really cute poncho. I may have to try and make that. It's really nice. It's got side buttons and everything. I may have to just try that one. Nice collared side button, perfect for the fall kind of a poncho. Oops, what am I doing? I'm just sticking in loops everywhere. I'm doing a single crochet row. That's all I want. So the game I was thinking about streaming is called Banner Saga. It's an older game, and I'm sure that if you're a gamer, you've probably already played the heck out of it. Or know someone who has, but I never have. And I started a playthrough a few weeks ago anyway. Started a playthrough, and it was a really cool game, and I really was enjoying it, but I thought it might be a better game to stream so that you can enjoy it with me for those days when the crafting just isn't calling. And sometimes those days exist. Not often, but sometimes. As I said, my latest project, my TV project, is the Scooty. And I'm doing a full rewatch of Supernatural. So I'm on season 11 of, how many seasons did they have? 15 or 16? A lot. So I've been watching a lot of Supernatural. But it's a pretty good show to binge. So all I have to suffer through is the streaming service asking me, "Are you still watching?" Heck yeah. Have you seen the show? Absolutely, I'm still watching. Something in my eye. This is fine. I'm sure it's perfectly fine. I've just made it worse. Oh my gosh. I just had an eye exam yesterday, and the optometrist that I saw, normally at that office they do a tonometer, which is a test where they blow a puff of air into your eyes to test the pressure. And thanks to COVID, they no longer do that because you're just blowing air around on a airborne virus. Does not seem like a really great idea. So now they're testing pressure by doing these colored eye drops. And so I got that yesterday, and of course it makes a person cry to get these drops, and they're this bright orange color. So yesterday I came home and I had these bright orange raccoon eyes because it just dripped everywhere, and it was not pretty. I've looked better. But at the same time, the optometrist said, well, Ms. Shakti, you're getting on in your years and now you need readers. So guess who is getting progressive lenses? Because that's a thing that's happening. For those who are unfamiliar, you may know them as bifocals. They're not exactly bifocals. They all go in one lens without the line showing. But that's what I'll be getting. I knew I needed something to read, but I didn't think it was going to be as pronounced as the doctor showed me it was going to be. It was a significant change. She showed me my current prescription and then what I was going to be getting, and oh my gosh, it's a world of difference. Even the glasses that I'm wearing right now, these ones are a relaxed lens, so they do have a little bit of a reading power at the bottom of the lens. They're like a pre-progressive, but the reading power is not very high. It's just that little bit of a boost more than just a single vision lens would be. So I've been wearing these for a while, but when she showed me the difference with what I'm going to be getting, it was dramatic. So, I guess I have to accept the fact that I have reached middle age. Hopefully this is middle age, because it means I'll be pretty darn old when I die. I'm okay with that being middle aged. I mean, it's been a pretty decent run so far, so. So yeah, it's a big year this year, going with the progressives, and decided a few months ago, thanks to COVID and not being able to see my hairstylist, I guess it was time to decide to go gray. Just let that happen. So definitely time to move into the crone phase of my life, I suppose. It is what it is. Hey, if Leia could be a general in her crone phase, so can I. Like, I'm finding... The cat hasn't even been around this yarn. I'm finding all kinds of hair. This is not cool. I just need a vacuum around, at all times. It is what it is. This row is going way faster than the last row. Like, way faster. Way faster. So one thing that's a problem, and I know that this is a problem, despite having done all kinds of Zoom events over the last year and a half, is looking at the camera versus looking at my screen. Looking at the camera, at the screen. And so I know that a lot of this stream I have been looking at the screen, and for that I apologize. It's really hard not to look at the person talking, and I'm right there. Technology is cool, but there are days that I struggle. Need to find a millennial somewhere to help me out with this. I say that ironically. I have a kid who's a millennial, apparently. I don't know. The years of millennialness seem to keep moving, so I don't really know. So here's a problem that I frequently have with patterned square things. Which one is actually the last stitch? Sometimes I will end up with something that goes in a V shape or in a V shape. So I'm hoping that this stitch that I'm working in right now is actually the last stitch. It makes it square. We'll find out. There is a border on this pattern, so all else fails, I can hide it with the border. I mean, easiest, I suppose, I could just count it. I'm looking at the back side going, this doesn't look right. Okay. That does look pretty straight, actually. I should count my stitches. Let's see. We are supposed to have 100. Looking at the camera, looking at the screen, look at the camera, look at the screen. We're supposed to have 116 stitches. Let's count. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 6, 8, 3, 36, 90. Yeah. 92, 94, 96, 98, 100, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, I clearly miscounted because I was supposed to have 116 and there's like 130 on here. And I think I know why. Because on each of these V's, I think I did 2 stitches and there's only supposed to be 1. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna pull out this row and do this again. Okay, no, wait now. That's right. That's only 1 stitch. Hold on. Let me look at this again. I'm going to recount this again because maybe it's just my counting. And the number of counting shall be 1. I make a lot of silly references to television movies as well. You may or may not have caught that already. Incorrect references too. Bet you caught that. Alright. Let me count again. Let me start again. Try and tune out everything else. I'm all tangled. Okay. 66, that's 116 right here. So I definitely did something wrong. It has to be that I've put an extra stitch there. Okay. Pulling this out. If I skip the top of the V, that should make it the right amount of stitches. The problem is see, that doesn't make any sense. There's even a diagram on the pattern that shows a stitch going in both of those. So did I add stitches when I made this row? Oh, this is just painful. Okay, chain 4, did 2, did there, did 2. No, because that's definitely adding a stitch on the top. That's not me. That is not me. That is a pattern problem. That's going in my notes. So my notes, what I'm going to do with this project and any other future projects and past projects, if I can make it work, I'm going to be putting them up on my blog, which I can link for you folks. And it'll have my notes for my projects and the links to the patterns and all that fun stuff. Okay. So what I need is a stitch between. Okay, hold on now. Because there has to be a stitch. I gotta work out this math. This is gonna be very boring. There has to be a stitch on the bottom matched with a stitch on top. Right? Because we've done 2 stitches in one on the bottom and 2 stitches in one. I think the problem is with the last row. Okay. Skip each of the next 2 single crochets, right, 1 double, right, then 1 double, no, 1 double, and then 2 triples in each of the skipped. Then I skip the next one, which is something I didn't do. Folks, I need to pull back that entire first row. Not a beginner pattern. Look at this, look at all this yarn I got sitting here. So, let's try not to get it in a knot while I pull back. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I don't need to pull, I only need to pull back to the very beginning. I was going to mark the start of the chain so that I could just go hog, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to pull back to the start of the chain. I only need to pull back to the first double treble. This is how my crafting usually goes. It just as an insight, I work the pattern, it doesn't work. I realize I've read something wrong. I blame the pattern. I reread the pattern. I realize I've done something wrong and finally accepted that I've done something wrong. It's fine. It's totally fine. This pattern says the skill level is easy. So if you're going to work this, where it says skip next single crochet, it means the next unworked single crochet. I tell you this so that you don't make the same mistake that I did, because what I did was just worked in the same previous stitch. Bad plan. We're getting near the end here. My ball of yarn's gonna fall apart here. Okay. So I'm back where I've done chain 4, skip the next, did a treble, did 2. Now I need to skip a stitch. So we might get 1 row done by the end of this string. Skip a stitch, 1 treble in the next 2. No wonder it was looking so loose, because I cannot read. That's going to make those reverse doubles way easier. 1, 2, 3. Because it's a fully unworked stitch that we're working it into, rather than the same stitch that we did the other double in, which is what I thought was happening. Which is why I had on the subsequent row an extra stitch, because I was creating an extra stitch. Totally fine. Good news is that this yarn pulls back just fine and doesn't look any worse for wear. There's some yarns that pulling back is problematic, Chanel's and that sort of thing, but this one's good to go. It looks so much neater and tighter, honestly. Honestly. And I trust the pattern until I make a mistake, and then I don't trust the pattern. And I'm like, curse the pattern. It's never the pattern. These designers are pros. They know what they're doing. I am but a lowly crafter. So that should make this row go a lot faster too, because now I have like 30 less stitches I've added in. Seriously, I'm so angry at myself. Oh well, I've only lost an hour of time. I've certainly done far worse. 3, 4. Skipping that stitch. Okay. Oop. My grandmother would not have made this mistake, which is probably why this pattern was destined for her. Okay. Yeah, that backwards treble's working out way better. even looks like a rectangle at this point. It doesn't look like it's going all skewed. And you know what? The worst of it is, do you remember at the start of the stream I posted the pattern and the YouTube link for the pattern? I guarantee they go over that in the YouTube link, which tells you that I probably should review the stuff that I'm posting first. I just saw the YouTube link and I was like, heck yeah, that works. I don't need to watch it. It's fine. Totally fine. Reader, it was not fine. Okay. Yeah, this is going far, far smoother. Yeah. It's cool. It's totally cool. I know at least I found the mistake at the very beginning, right? Not halfway through the blanket. That's something at least. Falling apart. My chair just moved. Lost my yarn. Okay. All right. So now I need to debate whether or not this is going to be an exclusive stream-only blanket, since clearly it's much easier to do when I follow the instructions. Or if it's okay to be a TV blanket as well. We'll see. 2, 3. I didn't go through my loops properly on that back pull. Just by way of explanation of that last face. Okay. 1, 2, skip, go. All right, yeah, that's working out way better. So let this be a lesson to ya. Watch the video before you start the pattern. Save all kinds of heartache. It is what it is. I don't think I have ever made a single thing without making a mistake in it. I don't think I've had a perfect project ever. I'm positive I've never had a perfect project. Okay. 1, 2. Skip. There we go. Yeah. This is like, I don't know if you can still see it. It's looking way better this time. Look at those nicely defined V's. It's looking straight. Even the back looks good. So when they say next stitch, they mean next unused stitch. Hello. Couple of you guys. Okay, I make knit clothes. I don't sew. I can sew, but it's really probably not a good idea. I have a sweater that I'm kind of working on the seaming. And yeah, it's a lattice blanket. It would look really cool in a variegated yarn, for sure. For sure. I wanted to go with something a little bit more neutral because I don't know where this one is ending up, what kind of home it's ending up in, so, but it would look nice in a variegated. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if you folks crochet, but if you scroll up in the chat, I can link it again in the chat, the actual pattern. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I will share the actual pattern. Unfortunately, I don't know if I have my tags set up right. This is totally new for me. So I'll just link it here for you guys. There we are. Totally free, so that's good. I had intended this to originally be a baby blanket, but I think there's going to be too many holes for a baby. Get their little fingers and toes stuck in them. Yeah, and the clothes that I make are generally, like I said, sweaters, hats, socks, anything that I can knit. That sort of thing. 1, 2, 3, that way. The only trick with this one is the backward stitches. I can do it. With my tongue sticking out, I can do it. I'm sure there's many variations on it, on the lattice stitch. It all comes down to where you stick your rows. But and hopefully next time I'll actually have my craft cam working so you guys can see the actual stitching progress, not just my, albeit lovely, face. Oh. It does take a little bit to figure out where the pattern should go though, like the figuring out the pattern so that it comes intuitively. So I don't have to constantly keep checking my notes. Get in there. Okay. And is it Derwin? Do you crochet? I've lost my place. I don't know where I need to be. All right, checking the pattern here. So I've gone back. Skipping the next two and doing a double treble. Okay. 1, 2, there we go. I'm back on track. It's all good. You're about a year self-taught, pretty much from 3 lessons. Yeah. Same. Same. At least there's resources out there to teach yourself. YouTube is pretty much my go-to. Yeah, exactly. That's why this one's going to be a lapghan. It's not going to be a full-size blanket. The only full-size blankets I have done have been granny square blankets, and at least those are easy to sew and seam, so I don't have to. I can just sit there without thinking about it and just making the granny squares. Okay. It's going to take me a while to commit this pattern to memory. I have to constantly I'm constantly losing my place. So once you start, you can't stop, is what you're saying. That's fine. Beds need blankets. Oh. Seriously. So this has a backward stitch. Honestly, today is not the right day for this. Okay, there we go. Got it. I have to work in the back of the work and in the front of the work, and it's weird. 3, skip 2, go. Although, now that I actually understand what this pattern is trying to say, it's going much better. 1, 2. Yeah, it's at least looking rectangular and not oval like it had been earlier. I did have to pull it apart, but c'est la vie. That's the joy of working with yarn, and the benefit, I suppose. It's just easy to pull it back and start again. So I have never really shied away from a difficult pattern, because what's the worst that can happen? Throw it in the garbage and burn it. There. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay. It's starting to come along. The only thing I'm not liking is between my double trebles, there is huge space. So maybe once I do a single crochet row, it's going to tighten up a bit. I'm not liking that big gap. This row's going much faster too, now that I'm doing the right number of stitches. It's like I have to talk my way through the backwards treble every time. Every time. But considering I just learned this stitch today, That's saying something. I think I'm just being too loose with my hook, and that's what's making this gap. Anyway, it is what it is. It'll work. Just trust the pattern. It's getting very hot in this room, and I did make sure the air conditioning was accessible. It's still very hot. We're looking at a heat wave here for the next week. So, welcome to summer. Okay, we're getting to the end, folks. Getting near the end. So that's something I'm definitely going to have to learn for the next stream, is how to set up these exclamation point tags so that it's just a quick access. There's so much to learn for this stuff. But it keeps a person busy when they're stuck at home during a pandemic. It is what it is. Okay, let's try and keep that gap tight by not stretching out my yarn and see if that fixes it. I think it's just the nature of this stitch. I honestly think, yeah, there's still a giant gaping hole in that stitch. There goes my yarn. Okay. So I just need to trust that it's going to be fixed when I do a single crochet row. And hope that does it. Well, if nothing else, I think we'll have had it established by the end of today. I think it'll be okay. Three. 1, 2, there. Okay. We're good. There's that big giant gaping hole again. Oof. This is a problem. I keep waving my arms about too much. 1, 2, 3. No, I have to do 4 treble crochets and 2 double treble crochets. Right. 4. So this is the third of the 4th. 2 yarn overs, and that goes in here. Okay. I mean, I'll get it. Eventually, this will be a thing that I do. It'll be fine. One, 2, 3. I have to do a treble. 2 stitches I have to skip there. I realize that this is all rambling for you folks, and I apologize. It's me trying to figure out this pattern and commit it to memory. Next time will be better because I'll have at least worked it for a while. And knowing how the pattern is supposed to go, I'll be able to get more than just a couple of rows done as well. Just realizing there's a lot of glare from my pattern sitting in front. That's okay. Removing cat hair. Probably knit a sweater from my cat hair. If I could spin my cat hair. Oh, I wonder if I did a spinning stream, you guys. Oh, we could all learn to spin together. Sans spinning wheel because I don't have a spinning wheel. I do have a spindle, a drop spindle, so we could do that. That might be a thing. I'm liking that idea. Spinning. And then I can make something out of my really bad yarn. Because I haven't spun yarn in a very long time. Several years. So I would have to try that again. Skipping a stitch. Not making the same mistake I made the first time I did this row. Because we learn from our mistakes. Maybe my new glasses, because right now I'm sitting here looking at chat and it's very tiny, so hopefully with my new glasses I'll be able to actually read the chat. Just as an aside, I recently finished up a course where the instructor had requested us to send in, it was all virtual, the instructor had requested us to send in our essays in 16-point font so that he could read it, because he had not been to see his optometrist in some time and required new glasses. And so because he was reading everything off the screen and he could only read at 16-point font or greater. So I don't know if anybody ever thought to show him a zoom feature. Since we were handing in PDFs, that's something that is possible with PDFs. However, it made his life easier, I suppose. Maybe I'll just do this on Wednesday. What could possibly go wrong? Be feeling ill from my COVID shot. And I don't know how to read a pattern. Should be a good time. I don't know, maybe I'll feel fine, who knows? I felt fine from the first one. Now we're near the end, and I don't know if it's going to work out. Trust the pattern. It's going to be my mantra. I'm working on trying to run a 5K. And the training program that I'm using recommends having a mantra so that when it starts to get difficult, you repeat your mantra and that kind of keeps you moving. And I see myself having my running mantra to be trust the pattern. Anyway, it's fine. I don't know if anybody is familiar with John Pinette. He was a comedian who passed away several years ago, but he would frequently make jokes about exercise and the like, and his mantra was raviolis and a nap, raviolis and a nap. I feel that in my soul when I work out, because I don't do it because I enjoy it. I do it because I have to. Okay, so what did I do? I went backwards, and then it says one treble in the last stitch. Oh, that doesn't work out. Because now I have a little nubby. Oh, you know what? I will stitch across and see how many stitches I have. But this is looking a lot better. Can you see it from the light? There we go. It's looking a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to work across. Let's see how many stitches we got. I can always hide the nubby with the border. So I need 116 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know what the song is, what this music is. Some people talking in the background. I apologize if it's awful, but it's free. What are they saying about this? I gotta look this up. This is crazy. This is crazy. What are they saying? Dumb Advice is the name of the song. Dumb Advice. That's probably what I'm hearing. Almost dumb advice. And I've lost my count, so I'll just count it at the end. Thanks, music. I may have to skip this song. it's over good. I'm playing the music off of Spotify, and it's a free streaming blah blah. It's appropriate music apparently. And if I hit skip, I find that the randomizer doesn't randomize, like it reshuffles everything so that songs we previously heard, we hear again. So I don't like hitting the skip button. But as I've said before today, it is what it is. There's still like double the amount of yarn that I wound up from the last time I pulled everything off. So that tells you something, that I definitely added way too many stitches. At least this stitch count should be a bit more accurate. But this is looking much prettier now that I'm adding the single crochet row. Goodness, we've been at this for 2.5 hours already. That's pretty great. Two rows in 2.5 hours. That seems reasonable. That was irony. Oof, that one's like a big giant gaping hole in that stitch. Wow-wee. Okay, let's make sure this is nice and tight here. Almost near the end. So the next row of lattice works in opposition to the first row. So where there isn't a V, it starts in the opposite end so that the lattice is going a lattice shape. You know? And therefore it's going to be the 4-row repeat pattern. It'll make more sense once you can actually see it come together, but the V's, the bottom of the V would start at the top of the other V. So rather than having it lined up here, the next V is going to be there and starting this way. So it'll look pretty once it's done. It's gonna come together. It'll work. But we're almost done this row, and then I'm going to count to make sure I actually have the right number of stitches, because I don't know that I've got the right number. Cat hair. Luna always wants to be a part of every project. Almost done this row, and then we will count it. I always go to Monty Python when I say something like that, because my brain is like, and the number of counting shall be 3, and 3 shall be the number of counting. 1 and 2 are right out. Okay. Let's count. Okay, but I'm going to show you first, because this is actually looking pretty cool. It's pretty neat, eh? It's going to be an interesting blanket with this. And then, like I said, the V's, if we go here, this V, these nubby here would be, this one's gonna come out this way, so it'll look like a lattice once it's done. So let me just count these stitches and make sure I actually have the right count. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. This is looking much better. I'm at 100 and only a tiny bit. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. I'm off by 1. That last row, I was off by 1. So I made a mistake somewhere. I probably didn't skip a stitch again. Again. Oh. Seriously, like, where did I make the mistake? Skipped. There's skipped. There. 3. I mean, I was right all the way along, most of the way there. It's so frustrating. Like, I say I have no problem pulling out my mistakes, but that doesn't mean that I should be making mistakes every time. At some point, you would think I'd get this right. I may have to just do this row off stream and try and do a proper row and pay attention to my actual stitches. It doesn't look like I've made a mistake anywhere. All of my stitches are in the right spot, which tells me, no, I don't know what that tells me. I have no idea. I made a mistake somewhere and I don't know where I made it. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm near the end of my time today anyway, so I'm going to set this aside and make this a problem for another time. What I will do is leave you with the links. Oh, leave you with links and things. Zoom really in nice and close to my face, because who doesn't love that, yeah? All right, leave you with the links for the pattern. If you wanted to try it out, you certainly can, because it's a free pattern. And here we are. There's the pattern. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to watch the freaking video that Red Heart made for this pattern to see where I can identify the errors that I've made and go from there. There's the YouTube video link, the pattern link. Thanks for watching me make mistakes today. I appreciate you. I will try to be back on Wednesday. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern is my current timing. Like I said, I have my COVID part 2 shot that day, so I may not be feeling up to it. Hopefully I am. If I am, I'll see if I have identified my error by that time, and we'll pick this up again, and actually I'll see if I can't give you a proper look of this blanket. So that's that. Okay, thanks everyone. Or did I've lost my screen. I'm sorry. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. We'll see you Wednesday. All right.